Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Darby Inspirational channel. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Alright? Today we have a web developer here with us on the channel, you know what I mean? Mr. Andre Boothe. Alright, welcome to the channel, Mr. Andre Boothe. You know what I mean? Through the channel we'll probably just have Mr. Boothe. Is that alright, sir?
Sure.
Okay, cool. It's glad to have you here on the channel nevertheless. You know what I mean? So we're just gonna get right into it and hear how it is I've been on the journey overall prior to becoming a web developer, how you find it and so forth. So tell me something, how have it been? Have been like becoming a web developer?
I mean, it's pretty much like any other job, to be honest. Once you have a knack for a certain thing, you find it very easy, as I do. So I've pretty much enjoyed my time. I've worked with amazing people, I've worked for an amazing company. So I think I'm doing pretty good for myself.
That's good, that's good. So tell me something, was that your first option from, you know, when we were growing, you know, most persons, I want to be a soldier, I want to be a police. So was that something you developed from a younger age or till you get older? Which one?
You know what the funny thing about that is, it's actually, I'm going to say a story. So in honesty, it was my first choice, but along the way I swapped and I wanted to be a doctor, mostly because of some family related stuff that I don't want to get into right now. But essentially, when I was younger, I loved gaming. I still love gaming. But I wanted to make my own game, so I wanted to get into the whole programming thing even back then.
Oh,
but
so coding, really?
Yeah, really. And ultimately through high school, that's what. But along the way, I went back to my original plan, original love, you know, because quite frankly, that doctor thing ain't for me. That 10 years of studying ain't me for me.
So you're saying because you have to go to 10 years of study, you just decide to say, hey, no, I'm not going to do the doctor.
Hey,
so
I'm going to be honest with you. That doctor life is not for everybody, okay? That you're pulling 2 days worth of shifts, you know, back to back, barely any sleep. Because that's the afterlife, you know. And they don't tell you these kinds of things. You get me? I say, these are it's a serious commitment. And I personally am not willing to make that commitment.
Oh, so you're not willing to make the doctor commitment, but nevertheless, so you said you don't want to go into too deep in depth of why you didn't want to become a doctor. But what doctor was it you want to become? What type of doctor?
Pediatrician.
Pediatrician. Okay, you know, take care of baby and so forth. So as you say, at this point in time, you like your job because you love game earlier on growing up. Definitely, you still do, as you said, right? So you said because of coding, and so you're thinking about making your own game someday. Likewise, right?
Yeah.
That would be good. You have any plan what the name of the game would be, or you just know you're gonna make something someday?
To be honest, another one of my knacks is that I write a bit of novels, right? And the game that I want to design would definitely be based on that novel. So there's that. I do have a name, but I don't want to share it.
You don't want to share it, yeah. Yes, sir, you don't want to money. Okay, so you're keeping that for private and confidential purpose.
Maybe another interview.
Okay,
when I'm ready.
Alright, hopefully the next interview you'd actually in the project of doing your own game. Nevertheless, so we can eventually talk about that, how it is coming along and so forth. So but nevertheless, how is it you're growing and so forth? You have siblings and so forth?
Oh yeah, I have what is it now, like 4 siblings? I have 3 on my mom's side and 1 on my dad's.
So how was it like throughout schooling? You know what I mean? What earlier on before we started the interview, you said you used to go KC, you know, but I never get to ask what primary you used to go before KC.
I went to one-way prep.
So then you move on to KC. How was it there? You know, you do 5 years there, you say?
You know, like KC, obviously the best school in Jamaica. Everybody know that. Everybody know that.
Well, why is it I'm going to agree with you? Because, you know, that's my side for chunks.
Yes, sir.
You know?
As it should be.
As it should be. But you said after KC, how was it now? After KC to transit to college, you go UE. You said I think earlier on you said you do pre-UE at first. So how was that transition? First, when you left KC, you go pre-UE to do
So in the earlier portions of my experience at pre-UA is when I was still in the phase of wanting to become a doctor, which I studied Cape level bio and chemistry. And quite frankly, it was just not for me, which ultimately made me transition back into going in straight to mathematics and computer science, bearing in mind that I never did IT at CXC levels, so I skipped that entire thing and went straight into computer science head first.
Yeah.
The thing is, I was the best in my class. Despite all of these people putting up their hands, oh, I did IT, I'm like, bro. But you know, when you, like I said before, man, when you have a knack for a certain thing, you know, like for me, when I made my first program, and it was so simple, all I had to do was print hello world on the screen. It's pretty much the same thing for pretty much every programmer. It was so magical to me to see like my words, my instructions just come to life like that on the page. It was just a different experience.
Well, that's good. That's good. You never did IT. We always went straight into computer science.
They said all I needed was math, and if I'm nothing else, I am a math professional.
So you just went straight into it. Straight into it. So actually, so basically, in order to become a web developer, you have to obtain a degree in computer science.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the different field? I think computer science cover a wide range of fields. So I know for sure you eventually divert into the developing of the programs and so forth. So you know, web developer, in which computer science, you have other person who will deal with like computer itself, and so all of those fall underneath computer science.
Yes,
you get to understand. So if somebody want to become a web developer, likewise, what would be your advice to them? As a young person coming up and say, okay, I would like to become a web developer, what would be your advice to them?
My advice to them is one of two things. Like, you're gonna need a degree for one purpose. You need the degree to get an interview. However, it's sad to say about that, the college is not going to teach you the skills you need to get things done. You're going to have to source that stuff for yourself. It's going to be on things like YouTube. You're going to have to Google. And personally, one of the things I use to get where I am at is basically this website that basically offers courses fairly cheaply for different projects. You can find anything there, and it's called Udemy. And that's where I learned the skills I have today.
So basically, you're saying the college is just eventually giving the basic.
If nothing else, they gave me a strong foundation upon which I could then build for myself.
Also, so you are telling me that they bring it to the water, but they don't force it to drink it.
Yep.
Yes, you know, be like one person.
Exactly.
Grandparents would say we can't force it to the water, but we do well, but we can't force it to drink the water. So apparently, they eventually give you the necessary first off tool that you needed, but you'd have to develop other means and resources. But probably in that sense, you just they're eventually building you for the outer world. Then, just to my knowledge, based on how you're saying it.
You know, it's funny. You might be right on that one, and there's another perspective. It's just a sad state of affairs, because one of the things you have to realize with IT and computer science in general is that the industry evolves rapidly. Like, nothing stays the same for a very long period of time. Like, the time you start learning something, by the time you are out of learning it, it's already outdated. Alright? So the things you learn today might not necessarily useful the next day after that. It's just one of those things. So, and there's no way you could expect any institution to keep up with that rapid pace of development. It's just not impossible. Varying costs and all of that kind of stuff play into factoring that, but it's just not feasible. So, in a sense, I'd say laying the foundation upon which you can then learn and go forward is probably the best course of action that they could do for you.
Okay. So, and as I said, things change rapidly because like the laptop, the iPhone, the iPods, and so forth. It's like I update my phone like just say last week, and then this week I'm seeing that a new update is out, and they just update me saying that a new update, and I update, and then a week after they are saying. So I agree with that. Saying that it changed rapidly, but you know, it's not everybody going to basically grasp these information prior to can control the rapid change that you said. By the time you done study this and understanding it, it changes. So people can tend to get frustrated with it. But otherwise from that, how is it like out there in the world prior to the computer science and so forth to get jobs? How you find that? Does you find that it's a big market out there for person who study computer science or web developer to get job easily, or do you find the pool is like a gangbang? It's hard to get in.
You know, that's a curious question because I'm not even sure how to answer it. I think it might just be a timing kind of thing. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. Because let me show you exactly what I mean. When I left college, right, I did not get a job right out of college. It took a while. It took like, I want to say over a year where I was basically working an internship. For anybody who doesn't know, an internship is basically where you get paid to come to work, right? You know, I've got this after that.
So just let me clear that for the here. So you're saying internship is just like you're just working bus here and probably little
exactly
not even lunch money, but just a little money, yeah. So
and the reason that is, and here's why, because everybody wants someone who's already experienced on that kind of thing. You get me? I say. Let me put that off into a side note. When you're in college, the best thing you can do for yourself is get an internship. Because the colleges have like different courses that you can do internships for different companies and so on. Do that in college. I never know that because I never really network that well to know these things. But after going there, I've learned that myself. So after college, I had to do a bit of internship. And then, like, after a year of that, when I started looking for jobs, I'm going to be honest with you, it came to me like that, my guy. Like, I had 3 different job offers lined up for me right when I started applying. And I just basically picked one of them for myself, which I felt was the best one.
So, that's one you picked eventually. That's where you're working now. Basically.
Yeah.
You wish to share?
Yeah, I work for KPMG.
KPMG, that's... That the last time I came across that's a overseas company, I think. Isn't that so?
It's actually an international company. They have many different branches all over the world. You have KPMG US, KPMG India, and KPMG Jamaica, obviously, and different Caribbean branches as well.
Oh, so you're working for the Jamaican branch, we all know that. But it's an international, so it's worldwide. You know what I mean? I know you find it. How long have you been working for them now?
Almost 2 years, actually. They have been, I'm going to be honest with you, they are an excellent company. Let me give you an example of what I mean. When COVID just hit, right, and everybody was scrambling, like they didn't know what to do and stuff like that, as soon as we got the information, say, hey, it's here, they were like, all right, guess what? We're going home and we're going to start implementing a work from home policy. And that was within the week, my guy. They were like, that. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are amazing.
That looked like you were pretty much excited for the whole entire work from home thing. That looked like you were like waiting until work from home.
Yeah, I'm telling you, because hey, one of the things you realize as a web developer or as a programmer in general, you don't need to be in the office, my guy, right? Unless you're working high security stuff, in which case you will definitely be required to work from home. But for a web developer who's not that high risk, you don't need to be in the office. And that's going to save you a lot of time and effort because one of the things people don't realize is that a lot of your life is spent in transit to work. You're going to spend like a 30-minute to an hour getting to work and then it's coming from work. That's adding your time to your at work time, in my opinion. And that does stress a lot of people out because it feels like they're still at work. They're spending more time than their usual 8 hours. You get what I say? When you work from home, it's all good. Although you still have certain things like, for me, I tend to go over my time because I get so into the work and it's very hard to break away from it because I like seeing things get done and I don't like leaving things half finished. So it's definitely a balance, but work from home was definitely the way of the future, and COVID just sped that up in my opinion.
So how was it for your first program? How much program have you developed or built so far?
Oh wow, that's I don't even know.
Oh, so I guess you all right. Let that say it, because I guess that's answer the question. It been a lot, you know. If you remember
Really?
the code, well, that's understandable. But how you find it then? You know what I mean? When building a program, how you find it interested? Oh no, that's your feel. I shouldn't even ask that question. That's a rhetorical question I just asked you. My apology for that. But you must get excited. And what I should ask, sorry, no, is that the ending product of your work, when you do see it, how does that feel? That must feel amazing.
Let me give you an example of one of the best thing I've produced thus far. It's actually a learning game kind of setting for my company, right?
So we go back in the game setting.
Right?
Okay, we're getting there.
It was a project that spanned months of work. I'm telling you. And when I saw the final product, I'm like, oh my gosh. And you know when it really hit me that I did something amazing, it's when I got other people to play it and they're like, holy crap, you did this? I'm like, yeah. Like, this was, I don't know how to describe the feeling. It was so rewarding to see because one of the things, you know, when you build a static site and all and something, you know people use it because of the metrics tell you that. But when you see people actually interacting with the site that you built and giving you comments, even just the other day, I got some recognition from the US branch for that kind of thing. For some international, it was something for the UN about International Innovation Day or something like that. And that was one of the things my company presented. And it was so great to just read their comments and say like, wow, you know, I did that.
Well, that must excite, because you're not the only developer in the company for one, and everybody is doing projects for them. Mm-hmm. And as you said, it was some national day for them over there, mm-hmm. and eventually select your work and eventually put it on the international scene. That must be a great, of course. That must be, you know what I mean, must be what I said, the warm felt, you know what I mean? Yeah, so that must be good. That must be good. And for a 27-year-old developer, you say, you know, so you left college like when you were like what, 23, going 23, I guess.
Roughly. I don't even know.
22,
sometimes you just forget all of these things. Okay. I swear.
So you say you just forget about college, you're going to work, you just want to do your work, and that's good. So eventually your suggestion to anybody at all out there want to do developing again computer science and want to go into the field of programming, developing and website and so forth, can definitely put their all in it, because they know for sure they eventually can get back the money's worth out of it. Oh, yeah. So all the time that they put in, for sure, because remember the problem we have, you know, we normally argue about the time we spent, you know what I mean, and the money we get back for the time we spend doing the work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You know, typical Jamaican. All the work I put in and I work so hard and I not get the money. So at the end of the day, so you are telling them that doing this as a web developer, mm-hmm. you know what I mean, for sure, from once you eventually get work, you know, because most time it's a little bit hard mm-hmm. to get work at first, but from once you come across a job, for sure, the money, the pay is it would be marvelous.
I'll do you one better. Once you understand your worth as a developer and your place in the market, this goes for even any job, you won't even settle for less. I'm going to tell you straight up. Because once you realize that you are valued more and you can get a job like that, you're not going to settle for foolishness. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so saying that said, have you ever
decline probably a job offer before, based on the fact that, you know, this one want to offer you a job and you say, hey, I'm not taking that? Obviously, based on the fact that you raise the question or the suggestion, sorry.
I mean, I've declined interviews, but as it relates to a job, we'll see how that works.
Okay, so you declined the interview, but you never declined job before. Mm. Okay, so well, that's good. That's good. Well, as you guys have it, you know, I mean, if you want to venture in developing prior to website and so forth, you know, I mean, computer science, the market is out there for us. You know, I mean, young people, that's something definitely you can, you know, I mean, venture in. And as you know, the career and your goal, try to always pursue it. So, as Mr. Boothe here said, do it. if you want to do it. Just do it, right? If you want to do web developer, do it. So as they said, and have you have any time when you're planning and start working on the game? Because I'm really interested to see what the game is about, you know.
The timeline, see, here's the thing with the gaming now, right? There's two phases to it. Because one, I'll have to actually teach myself to program for a game, and that's the difficulty in of itself. But the storyline itself, because for me personally, I like adventure games. I like games with a good story. So I'd have to actually finish my novel first.
Yeah, because you said you write novel, so the storylining would be alright. But
exactly.
So that would be the more easier part, probably the storylining, but not that easy because
you would like to think it would.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Not that easy because it's just like watching a few series movies, and after watching the movies, in the middle of the movie, you dip and you take a turn, you just lost. So at the end of the day, just like the novel, you eventually have to have a constant story for the gaming and know exactly where it's going and where it's ending. So you can have a strong starting and then you dip in the middle and then the end you turn all over the place. So you're saying that not just because it's a novel and people write, you have to eventually have the novels pinpoint out. And then you eventually had the novels to the coding. You know, yeah, that's one thing. I mean, just the novels now you eventually implement it in the coding and so forth. So, so that's basically you're working on the novel at first. As they said, it started, but so you're actually working on the novels to complete, and then you eventually start venturing the coding. So we'll definitely be looking out for that game. You know what I mean? In the near future, and not only in the future, because I really want to see the aspect of that gaming, you know what I mean? And that's good. We need a lot more people like that overall in Jamaica here, because we have attendance have always been talking about, okay, overseas, this, foreign, this, and most time we have persons here can do it, but all we need is sometimes somewhat of a motivation and persons to say, yeah, you're doing good, continue, and so forth. What do you think about that? Because sometimes we like to do it, but at first, and depends on the people around you, sometimes they are very much not supportive. You know what I mean? They're not encouraging most time. At first, they always say, hey, you can't do it and so forth. In which, it's not that you can't do it, it's just that sometimes you're not doing the right way. But at the end of the day, if it's a case where they eventually say, oh, it looks something that could be promising, that it eventually give you a push. You know what I mean? So I think we need more of that people overall to eventually motivate each other nevertheless. And we think we need more persons that are going to help develop certain things overall in the society, likewise around, and not just depending on, okay, it's overseas people, it's people, foreign people alone can do it, US, America, we can do it too, right? We can do it because we actually go college just like the others go college, because I go by UA, I see white people in UA, you know what I mean? We go by UTEC, we see people from other foreign countries in our college here likewise, and they go back to their country and then they eventually develop, what is it? We and them eventually go college here, and we not developing it, sorry. You know what I mean? Nevertheless, and it's not like they are better than us, not that we are better than them, but at the end of the day, they put in a lot more than we do, and they oftentimes tend to have people that eventually support them. You know what I mean? And you get supported from your family.
Oh, definitely. I'd be nowhere without my family. I can tell you that much. Like, they're my main support structure.
Well, that's good. That's good. So, the greatest part, you have your family likewise to support you, and that's where we like when it started first, because if most time your family start to doubt you're doing, at first you'll eventually have a lot of stumbling, because if you're not getting the support from in the home, you know what I mean, it's going to be hard to start outside, because you're going to wonder if outside is going to like it, because who's at home not, you know, not gravitating towards it. But if you eventually get that push from in the home, you know what I mean, you eventually be good, because home already in, you know what I mean, booting you, giving you that push, make you over the moon feel like, say, yeah, you're doing something good. And then, you know, just like, I remember, what was it? I think it was 2012. I think I'm building some, you know, fun stick and matching sticks so forth. So I get some matching sticks from a friend of, some fun stick from a friend of mine. And she asked me one thing to do to build a house for the basic school, because it was a basic school purpose. And then now I have one big bag of fun stick left. So I decided, okay, cool, I'm going to do some picture frames. I'm going to do some chairs and tables and jewelry box and so forth. And the first chair I make, how funny it is, the first chair I make, it dropped on his head back. You know, so, you know what my brother said to me? My brother said to me, you're a high class man, go find something better to do. And I take that as a great motivation.
Hey, listen, one of the things you have to realize in a life, sometimes you just have to grit your teeth and just push forward in it.
That's true. So sometimes you have to eventually take the demotivation of others and motivate yourself. Because coming back to the story, the chair drop on the head and take it as I tell you. The next day, he's asking me how much I'm selling for my chair because the next chair maybe is better than that one. And then I started to build jewelry box, vault, picture frame, table set, seasoning basket, house. Come on, you name it. You know what I mean? So at some point in time, you eventually yourself can eventually use person's negativity and turn it into a positive mean and motivate yourself. But not all of us have that at times.
You know, let me say this. In life, you're gonna get a lot of L's. You're gonna get a lot of losses. And it's how you push through those losses that truly defines you as a person. Because if you get a loss and you just take that loss, you will never grow. Right? You will never become more than what you currently are. Because I've taken a lot of losses. Even in my interview phase, I literally interviewed many places. I'm not even just in Jamaica, internationally I'm talking about, right? And sometimes you even send out your resume and they don't even send you back anything. This is when I really just first I start, I'm gonna have really no experience coming in. You get me? I say, you send out your resume to so much places and they don't even send you back. Some of them send you back. Some of them you even make it to an interview and you're like, you don't even hear back from them kind of deal. And it's really demotivating. I'm not gonna lie, but you just gotta push through. There's no two ways about it. You have to push through because let me tell you something. When it starts for you, when things start happening for you, it's going to come in spades, right? If it's like the story of the man that is digging for gold, and that final time where he's about to hit gold, he just turned back. It's just like that. When you are just about to reach your goal, is when you're just gonna stop. I'm telling you, you just gotta push through sometimes.
So, but as we speaking here, probably it would sound easy, like because you're older. But through college, how was it? Let's get back to college. How was it throughout college and your studies and you know what I mean to overcome these? Can you remember say computer science? When you hear the word computer science, this is headache. This is headache. I don't care. I know that from day one. When I hear about computer science, okay, that's all. Like you just have my brain going. I don't give a damn. But nevertheless, how was it though? How you find to overcome these struggles throughout studies and assignments and all those stuff?
Maybe. For me, college was actually a struggle. And it's not because I couldn't get the material. That was never a problem, right? The problem was I didn't go to the classes. Sad to say, but I didn't go to the classes, and UA was a real stickler for that kind of thing because one of the things you realize that the teachers like them own way. They like you doing something the exact way they taught you. And even if you were to learn a different way, they don't care. They want the exact same way they taught you. So that was a real problem for me since I didn't even know how they taught you because I wasn't going to the classes. But ultimately, like, I had to just, put on my big boy pants, strap up my boots, and just get it done. Right? Because I want to reach somewhere in life, and this was one of the methods of getting there. So I just had to push through and get it done. So my problem was never really learning the material or struggling with that. My problem was just a lack of, what do you call that now? Devotion, discipline. That's the exact word. Okay, mine was a lack of discipline.
So basically it was on your handle because you don't turn up for the classes and so forth. So
it's you know what the funny thing is that in high school you are literally forced to go to class each and every day. And when you just get dropped into college and you get that freedom of you can go and you can don't go, it's kind of hard not to abuse that privilege. You get what I'm saying?
Hold on, tell me something. Was it you paid for college fees? Was it you or your parents or what?
Student loan.
Okay, so you're telling me student loan paid for your college fee, and you're telling me you're going to go and waste time? And remember, you have to pay about student loan. So whether you get a job, you get a degree or not, you have to pay about student loan.
Listen to me. I'm telling you, it's very hard not to abuse the privilege. Even with all of that in mind, sometimes it's just like, I really don't want to go to school today, you know? And guess what? No one's even forcing me. So it's like that struggle where you're becoming an adult and not yet really realizing that you are pretty much responsible for yourself. Like, it's like you were all the while you were in the shallow before in high school, and then them just drop you out in the deep end and expect you to swim. No, my dad did that to me and I did swim. You get what I'm saying here.
But as I said, but remember, college eventually prep you for the outer world overall.
Exactly.
Because outer world, you know what I mean, the boss is not going to haul you. You don't have any parents eventually. They get to go to work. Remember, it's about you now. You're an adult now. Mm-hmm. So you eventually make your own decision. So I guess that's what college is about. Eventually prep you for the outer world. So if you want to come to class, come to class. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to come to class, stay outside. Just like work. If you want to come to work, you come to work. If you don't want to come to work, stay home. You don't have a job in the next 2 or 3 days. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I just think that's what college eventually builds you for.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. You know, it's just like a lot of people, more than you would actually think, struggle with that transition into adulthood, like that they were not prepared for, and most people don't even get any kind of guidance or there. Some people are just going to college for the first time or the first in their family, like I was. You get me? I say, and there was no one to really guide me along the process and correct my methods. I was pretty much just out there, like just finding my own way along this path. You get me? So it was a struggle for me, but I learned from it. I learned the hard way, but I learned nevertheless.
Well, nevertheless, give thanks. You have overcome that. You know what I mean? This part of your discipline with yourself, of not going to classes and so forth. But yet still, at the end of the day, you catch up yourself, and you overcome somewhat of struggles throughout college and so forth. Now you're in a nice job, as you said, and that's really good to know. And as go by, hopefully others around you can eventually take a few pages out of your book, likewise your siblings and so forth, because as you said, you're the only one for both parents. So eventually they can eventually take a few out of your book, likewise you can eventually pass on some knowledge to them, likewise about schooling and college, and let them know not to waste time through the college settings and so forth. So you know, it's really a privilege, Mr. Boothe, having you here today. And hopefully this message was really helpful to us, a lot of persons who they wanted to do anything in computer science, especially the web develop segment, you know what I mean? And it is really inspiring to them. So eventually, if that's what you want to do, as Mr. Boothe said, do it. There is space out there in the market for you. The pool is not too wide enough, so you know, just do it. If you want to do web developing, just do it. Don't worry yourself. No matter the money you pay, as Mr. Boothe said, for college and so forth, you'll definitely make it back. So, right? That's what he said. So and then now when you market yourself afterwards, you'll definitely be, you know what I mean, a winning for you. So hope this message was really inspiring to a lot of you guys and so forth. And you know, thank you for watching. You remember, like, subscribe, and share. Alright? And remember, click the notification bell. Stay tuned for all the rest of features and interview that is coming along. Alright? Remember, love you all my subscribers. Alright? Hope you all stay blessed. Thank you.